National Teachers Union, together with the Human Rights Commission, are conducting a survey on teachers' concerns ahead of that return of more pupils to school next week. Here's who is expected to return to the classroom. Grades 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 and 11 will be able to go back to school from this coming Monday. The unions plan to present the findings to Basic Education Minister Angie this week, as we understand. To talk more about why they felt the need to conduct the survey, I'm joined by Thompson. He's president of Natu. Alan, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to eNCA. So are you able to give us an idea then of the findings that you will present to the Basic Education Minister?
Well, thank you very much for having me on behalf of the National Teachers Union. Firstly, I want to indicate that initially the National Teachers Union did its own survey, and we also done a lot of monitoring, and we satisfied ourselves that schools were not ready, but we decided to collaborate with other trade unions and then approach the Human Rights Commission, where we have agreed that we are going to do jointly the survey of the state of readiness for the schools to receive the second cohort of learners, like you have correctly put, those learners who come from the lower grade. So the main intention is to tick the boxes and be sure that the system is ready to receive the second cohort. Why we said we felt perhaps it was necessary is because every time when people hear us as trade unions, they think that perhaps we are just objecting on the moves or the decisions that are taken by the Department of Basic Education. But we felt very comfortable to involve the Human Rights Commission, because the Human Rights Commission, it looks at the rights of learners, the rights of also the employees in every workplace. So that is why then we felt that it is going to carry more weight if we conduct such a survey jointly with the Human Rights Commission.
And how did you do the survey? What sort of questions did you put to the educators?
Well, we are targeting the principals of schools because they know the overall conditions of the institution, but we also allow somebody to fill the form on behalf of the principal of a school. And like the question that we check the floor space, whether the school was able to accommodate grade 7 and grade 12. And if the answer is yes, they will say yes. Then we'll ask a question, if the second cohort come back to school, are they still going to have sufficient space? Another question, we check whether is there any class that is having more than 20 learners per classroom. Remember, we had an agreement with the Department of Basic Education that we have to reduce the class size and we have to maintain the social distancing, which means the desk between the classes must be 1.5 meters. So we check those things, whether they are able to observe the social distancing in the classroom. We check whether also the masks were delivered in the institution such that at least each learner will get 2 masks and the teachers will also get 2 masks. Then they will have to indicate whether the school did receive the mask, 2 masks, and those masks were adequate for both the teachers and the learners. Another question, we check the issue of sanitation, whether they have everything that is required. Do they have water? Are they relying on the water tanks? Where the water tanks delivered? Do they know what is it that needs to be done when the water tank is empty, for that water tank to be refilled? With the tankers coming to the school. We also agreed also of checking the attendance of learners, whether learners are coming to school, do they have records of learners with comorbidity and all those things. Also the issue of teachers. Remember, some of the teachers were supposed to be replaced, especially those with comorbidity and those that are 60 years and above. Whether they've managed to secure those teachers, do they have a picture that how many teachers do they need? So all that kind of information will give us a real picture whether the system of education will be ready to receive the second cohort. But the initial survey we did as the National Teachers Union indicated beyond reasonable doubt that some of the schools that were supposed to reopen for grade 12 and grade 7 did not reopen. So as a result, it will be very difficult to receive the second cohort when the department failed to accommodate the first cohort with the minority of learners coming to the education system. Right now, we're expecting many learners to come to school, almost 15 million of them to come to school. So that on its own suggests that we need a ready system for us to reduce the number of infection. The system must be ready, because right now we have more than 2,000 people who have been infected since the last 3 weeks.
I want to squeeze in a quick final question and ask you what your position is as Natu on the calls by some for schools to be closed until the worst of this pandemic is over.
Well, part of the things we will be having today, our National Executive Committee meeting, where we are going to take a firm decision on what needs to happen. But from the look of things, we shouldn't allow the second cohort. We must concentrate only on grade 12. And then, because those are the people that we do not have enough time to give the information that they will require for them to sit for the final examination. But from where we are seated as the National Teachers Union, we believe that we need to delay the reopening of schools, especially to accommodate the second cohort.
Okay. Alan Thompson, great speaking to you. Thank you, sir.